Welcome to another Oya Help Me series. Today we're going to talk about the free application for federal student aid, better known as Fafsa. Now, for those of you youngsters who are going into college in the fall, it is important, especially you young incoming freshmen to college, it is important that you do the Fafsa form. It is vitally important. Even if you're going to get a scholarship or you got a scholarship for full ride, still do the Fafsa. You never know if the government's going to give you more money or not. Now, for those of you who are already in college, don't forget to do the Fafsa form. Now, I remember when I was in college, I did not know how to do the Fafsa form my first time. I was like, what is this form? All I knew was I needed my parents' tax information and my tax information. So remember, when we're gonna fill out this FAFSA form, make sure that you have your parents' current tax information and your information. So when they go do the taxes, they're gonna have these forms, these tax forms on them. Make sure you get those and plug in the information that FAFSA asks you. Now, you can do from last year's info, but then eventually FAFSA's gonna be like, okay, now we need the updated information. So just wait until your parents and yourself have done the taxes and then put in that information in there. Alright? So don't wait until the last minute on this. The FAFSA form is already open. You never know what the government's gonna give you, so make sure you put in the accurate information and we're gonna walk through the steps. So come on, vámonos, let's go. www.fafsa.ed.gov. And then, of course, you're going to start a new FAFSA form. Of course, if you're ready, start a new FAFSA. This is for those of you who have never done one, okay? Or the ones who, for the ones who are already in college or been through college, you still need to go through that. Start a new FAFSA because every year you're supposed to do a new one. If you started one and you need to go back fill out information, you just log back in. Okay, when you do that, you start a new application, you're going to fill out some information, your name, your last name, social security number and such, and your date of birth. And then, of course, over here it says help and hints. If you ever get stuck, help, you always have help there on you, with you, okay? As soon as you fill that out, it's going to say you're going to start a new 2014-2015 FAFSA, okay? Mine right here says PIN status active because I already have a PIN since I still have it active since I was in college, so I have one already. If you don't have one, you can request one, and we're going to show you how to get one. Okay, once you've done that, it says it can have you here some introduction page, signing with the FAFSA on the web security and privacy. Can I save my FAFSA if I don't finish, which you can. And it just says steps to complete. Okay, your social security number and all your info here you have to fill out. So this is just basic information. Now, what is your marital status as of today? Okay, as of today, right now, when you're filling out the FAFSA, okay, what is your marital status? Now, if you're dating someone, now the options are I am single, I am married, remarried, I am separated, and I am divorced or widowed. So those are the four options. Okay, if you're dating someone as your boyfriend or girlfriend, okay, you're single according to the marital status. Okay, just because you have a boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't mean. Now, if you are living with someone and they're not your official married, like you're not officially married, you're just together, but you call them your wife or your husband, but you're not officially married, you don't have the actual documents to prove that you are married. At least civil, in civil court and such, by civil, you need to put single. Okay, you just can't, put I am married, and then not actually have the proof to show it. Okay, if you have any questions, you can call FAFSA. I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty about that, but make sure you have a driver's license. If you do, you put that driver's license information. Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a U.S. citizen? Ask, are you a citizen? Are you registered with Selective Service? Now, gentlemen, when you turn 18, you have to register with the Selective Service. Okay, it's federal law. It's law. Okay, so this is one thing that my mom freaked out about when I told her I was gonna go sign up for the Selective Service. She goes, "Ay, mijo, te vas a ir a la guerra. Oh my God, you're gonna go to war and this and that." At my time, when I was going into college, this was 2006, so the war in Iraq and well, more so the war in Iraq was very, very high tensions. My mom was like, "Oh my God, George Bush is gonna send you over there, blah blah blah, this and that," and I was like, "No, Mom, it's just I have to do it. In order for me to do for FAFSA, I have to sign up with the selective service. It's just a thing." So, gentlemen, make sure that make sure that you do register with the selective service. Now, if you're undocumented or you're a resident, double check with that. But I know if you were born in the United States, if you're a U.S. citizen, you're 18, you go and sign up for the selective service. You have to. Where do you sign up? Go to your local post office. I know they have forms up there or such for selective service. That's where I did mine. I went to my local post office and I did a selective service. When you start college, what year will you be your high school completion status? So, with this, if you're filling out the FAFSA, of course, you're going into college starting in the fall. So, say that you've completed high school. What grade level? And ask you some options. When you begin the 2004-2015 school year, what degree certificate will you be working on? Ask you also if you're interested in being considered for work study. Now, work study, even if you don't think that you're going to work on campus, if you're like, no, I already have a job and I'm going to be still working it while I'm in college, just say yes, okay? You never know. Things always change, all right? Things change while you're in college, What if you get laid off from work or something happens that you quit or something happens? And just in case, just say yes to the work study. I did. Did I ever get it? I don't think I ever even got it, but it didn't matter. I still said yes. Will you have your first bachelor's degree? Well, of course, if this is the first time you're applying, of course you're going to say no. And also ask your parents information, what's the highest level they've completed. Okay, like I said right here, when you begin the 2014-2015 school year, what grade level, never attended college first year. That's, of course, for you people, you youngsters who are going to college for the first time. Attended college before. That means of you who went to college, and you're still in your first year, or those of you who dropped out and are going back and never completed your first year, you do that. And then, of course, and so on, junior, sophomore, senior. For those of you who are applying again, I would go by the credits that makes you a sophomore, junior, or senior. The credits. Don't just say, well, I think I'm a sophomore. No, double check. Okay, double check. Don't just assume. Of course, for those of you who, first time filling out the FAFSA, of course, you're going to put first bachelor's degree. Okay. If you are going to a community college and you're just going to get an associate's degree, put associate's degree you're working on. Now, if you are going to transfer, I would put first bachelor's degree. Now, for that, if you're going to community college, talk with your financial aid advisor there and see which, talk with them in regards to whether you put the first bachelor's degree or associate's degree. Put associate's degree you're working on. Now, if you are going to transfer, I would put first bachelor's degree. Now, for that, if you're going to community college, talk with your financial aid advisor there and see which, talk with them in regards to whether you put the first bachelor's degree or associate's degree. It's very important that you do so. Associate degree, if you're going to be in a transfer program, many community colleges have transfer programs where you start off your first 2 years there and then, you transfer to another university within the area that you want to. They have a transfer program. If you're going to do that, then do associate degree transfer program. Okay, if you're just going to go get your associates, say just, I'm going to get a technical degree, put associate degree technical program. If, of course, you're going to a 4-year institution, put first bachelor's degree. And, of course, the other options, graduate and professional degree, those of you who are going to grad school, of course, you put that. After you do that, of course, enter the city state of your high school. Okay, make sure that you put in the correct information. Once you put that information, like what is the name of your high school and what city and the state, it's going to give you a list of high schools, and then you click on the one that's the one you went to, and then you confirm it. Okay, make sure you put that information. Now, this is the part where you're going to put your federal the federal school code for the university institutions that you are going to go into. Now, you can do it two ways. Either A, You put in the state, the city, or the school name that you know, or you can put the federal school code. I personally would do federal school code. And you're like, well, Jose, what's the federal school code? Now, it's a school code that every university has when you fill out the FAFSA. You can put up to 10 colleges. Now, even if you think you're going to apply to college, but you're not sure, put it anywhere. Okay, you have up to 10 choices. Now, Jose, what's the federal school code? Oh, well, let's work on that right now. Okay, so let's just say you're going to go to Harvard University, right? You're going to go to Harvard, right? You're going to put federal, just make it easier. Federal school code, right? The federal school code, you put right here, right? And then right here, you see here, free application for federal student aid for U.S. citizens. Our federal school code is E00468. Okay, that is the federal school code that it's talking about. If you're going, this is just for example, this is for those of you going to Harvard. Okay, that is what it's talking about for the federal school code. And then you put that information. Now, another way you can do it is like, say here, Northeastern University, my alma mater, where I went to for undergrad. So you go to prospective students, right? Undergraduate students, find out here, or you can put financing your education, right here, financing your education, getting started. And right here it says Northeastern Illinois University's federal school code is 001693. That is the federal school code. Every university you go to, any university you're going to go to, you can just either, at the top right here, you can just put federal school code and it'll pop it up. Or you can just, the university will tell you when you apply to the university, this is our federal school code. Make sure you get that. Or as I said, you can just, do it by state, city, but, just get that federal school. Now it says the housing plans. Will you live off campus or on campus? Some institutions require you to live on campus or put on campus. So there's three options, either on campus, off campus, or with parents. If you're going to live with your parents still, you put with your parents. If you're going to live on campus, you put on campus or off campus, okay? And then, of course, you can add up to 10 schools. Okay, if you have more than 10 schools, first submit it, then you can go back into your application and add more. So even if you think you're going to apply one, just put it on there. But make sure the ones that do that, first of all, I would put the ones that you have applied to. Make sure you put those first. And then if you have more, put on, maybe I'll think about applying to this one, just put it there. And then, this is, of course, if you have kids, dependents, your number of family members in your household, and how many people in your household will be in college. So in the same time you're applying your FAFSA, will you have a brother or sister that in your household, or even your parent too, by the way, that are going to be in college? Make sure you put that number. It's very important that you put that number. And make sure you tell them also to fill out the FAFSA. Do you want to answer questions about your parents? Make sure that you do. If you're a first time filling out this FAFSA form, make sure that you do answer your questions about your parents. As of today, what is the marital status of your legal parents? And of course, it's going to give you options, whether they're married, divorced, widowed, and then parents' email address. Now, if your parent does not have an email address, create one for them. Help them out. Come on, don't be me now. And then you put the household size again. Of course, right here, if your parents are married or remarried, then you have to put when your parents were married. Ask your parents, put your dad on the spot. Be like, oh, hey, Bob, when were you guys married? And it's the funny thing, if you ask them right in front of your mom, she's like, a ver, dime cuándo se casaron. It's pretty funny when you tell them that. Of course, your parents' social security number. That's why it's important too when you fill this out. You have that tax information, because that tax information is going to give you this, the social security number of them and their information, your parents' email address. Now just ask them when they were married, of course. And of course, if they were divorced or separated, they have the option too, if they were widowed. Another thing to remember is when you're doing the parent information, now this is for you guys who still live with parents and you're gonna, you're filing taxes with your parents and such. It's gonna ask you to put in your parents' tax information. And it's almost the same thing as when you put your information, your tax information. So you're gonna make sure you look at your parents' tax information. and put in their info. It's going to ask you the same thing, line and the form 1040, 1040EZ, 1040A. Make sure that you have your parents' tax information because you will be asked, if you're putting your parents' information in there too. It's going to ask you have file, will file, not file. If you will, say for example, you went to go do your parents went to go do their taxes, right? And you come back the next day or so, and your parents have those forms on them. They've already mailed them, and they have the copies. All right. You put will file because they're being sent out. If you already sent them out and they have them, then you put already filed, so the system looks. And then what will be your tax filing status according to your tax return? If you're just a kid, just a college student that's going in your first year and you're not married, of course, or you're not the head of the household, you put single, of course. And then right here, you're going to select which income tax form you will file for 2013 and what was your adjusted gross income. Depending on that, that's where the tax information comes in handy because that's going to give you that information. The IRS 1040, 1040A, or 1040EZ, the foreign tax return. And you're going to, of course, for example, if you did the IRS 1040, it's going to ask you, okay, look at line 1040, line 7 plus 12 plus 18. You're going to add those 3 lines, and it's going to add you that. This is just, I made up this number here. Of course, you see down here, it's going to say supplement security income, supplement nutrition assistance program. If you're part of any of these programs, make sure you check them. If you're not part of any of them, just put none of the above. Of course, like I said, if you did the 1040, you put that information. If here, like I said, none of the above. And of course, this is fictitious information that I put for myself, just to show for example, okay? Just to show you as an example. Of course, if you did the 1040, and then of course, if you did the 1040EZ, it's going to tell you which lines it is, all right? Now, if you had the 1040A or the 1040EZ, it's almost going to be almost the same thing, except it's going to be different line numbers for you, okay? It's going to come different line numbers. And just for example, like it kind of does it for you. So this amount, so what was your adjusted gross income for 2013? This amount is found in IRS form 1040, line 37. So you look at line 37, and whatever that number is, you put it on there, okay? And of course, if you want any of these programs, just put none of the above. And then, of course, enter the amount of your tax return form. If you have 1040, it's going to say line 55. If you have 1040, you can see on the right-hand corner, if you have 1040A, you lose line 35, 1040EZ, line 10. And, of course, you continue on, put information. If you're not any of these things right here that says check off on the mark, you just click next. On the bottom it says click save. Just save, just for in case your computer shuts down, your internet goes down or something like that. And of course, once the information is pretty much complete, you want to print the FAFSA information. It's very important that you print out the FAFSA information. There's a couple pages just for your records. Have some for your records, and of course, are you prepared or not? If you did it yourself right here, like we just did, then of course you're not a prepare it. It's gonna ask you for information, and then you're gonna have to put your PIN number there. And of course you sign, you submit my FAFSA now, you submit it, and then it's gonna give you a confirmation. Print out that confirmation, so make sure that you have the confirmation printed out and you have the FAFSA application printed out, and save it somewhere too, just for record purposes, okay? Now, usually scholarships will ask for some of the FAFSA info. It's going to ask you a couple things for the FAFSA, maybe a question or two from the FAFSA. That's why it's important to have that printed out so you can give them that information in case they ask for it when you're filling out for scholarships. Very important for scholarships. Now, the PIN. Very important that you get a PIN number. No, I'm not talking about from the ones from the bank. When you go into, so for example, you're going to go to PIN site right here. It's going to take you to here. You apply for a PIN. You apply. If you already have one, you can request a duplicate or access my PIN by email or change my PIN, disable my PIN, reestablish my PIN, activate my PIN. If this is the first time you're going to apply for a PIN, it's going to ask you here, some of the information. It's going to tell you some information here as the steps. Then, of course, you're going to fill out all this info. email address such and such, and that's how you're going to create. It may ask you for your parents' email. Make sure you create one for your parents' email. If they already have one, let them know to help you out with that, because it may ask you not for your parents' email address. Now, of course, if you get stuck again, remember there right here on the site there is information. You can call them. They even have YouTube videos themselves. Download the accessible videos. So they're actually pretty kind of. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty entertaining with all these cartoon type things. So it just gives you a little more insight, more info. Now, it wasn't that hard, was it? So make sure that every year now after this that you do the FAFSA form, alright? And make sure you follow up with them. Make sure you remember that PIN number, guard it in a safe place. Make sure all that information, and always look that up. And print out the forms if you need. Now, I do have to have a disclaimer. I am not a financial aid advisor, okay? I am not no college financial aid advisor. All this is just to help you out fill out the FAFSA form. If you still need more help, if you still need some, more information, go, like I said, go on the FAFSA.gov, call them up, email them, or go talk to the financial aid advisors at the university, okay? Make sure you always go, follow what they say at the end. I'm just giving you some tips and information, alright? So make sure you check out other videos that we have up on the website at www.oyehelpme.net, and I'll check in.